EOTECH is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade.
Hey, Leadheads. Welcome back to another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. Greatly appreciate you tuning in. I've got an awesome episode for you this week for the Independence Day, 4th of July week. I know everybody's going to be out doing their own thing, grilling, cooking out, going to the lake, spending time with family, friends, kicking back, relaxing. And this one was designed for you to enjoy at your leisure. So we've got several interviews lined up here for this episode. So grab something, hold tight, get your favorite beverage of choice. You're really going to enjoy these interviews that we've got set up. But if you haven't had an opportunity to listen to our previous episode, make sure you go back to episode 492 where we had the guys from Valiant Dynamics talking about their new Evolver combat stock. And we also had our good buddy Ron with Yeager USA join us on that. He has some firsthand experience, so he was valuable in that and giving us his testimony. I've got one, but I haven't used it yet. I've just played around with it, but very cool stock. You guys are going to enjoy hearing about that. And then, of course, this month's AK Corner, if you haven't listened to it yet, you need to go listen to it because we had our good buddy Jomo with Atlas Defense on that episode where we were talking about the Romanian AK. We also had Marco Vorbiv and our good buddy Paul Markel. But Joe made an announcement that we are going to be giving away one of Atlas Defense's Copus 22 silencers on the next AK Corner. So July's edition of the Talking Lead AK Corner, we're going to be giving away a Copus silencer. And all you need to know on how to get involved with that is in that episode. And I'm not going to tell you here how to do that. You're going to go back to that episode and listen to it. That's one of the stipulations. So we've got several of you Leadheads that have entered that already and are eligible. So thank you for that. I want to see more between now and the time that we give that away on July's episode of the AK Corner. Probably going to cut that off around the 10th or 12th. So you got about, couple more weeks. Get those in. Also, you've heard me talk about in the past the giveaway that we got with Keltec and several of our other partners, the 3-gun giveaway. That is going to be happening as well. Just wanted to let you know we're still planning that. It's going to happen. We just are waiting on a couple of more things to finalize before that big giveaway is going to happen. But that's going to happen. So stay tuned, and I'll keep you up to date on that. In this episode, we have, like I said, we've got a big lineup, huge lineup. I'm excited about this episode. You guys are going to love it. In celebration of the 4th of July, Independence Day, we have got Dave Biggers with Ed Brown Products joining us, and they have some new modifications, new services that they're offering for Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0s. So Dave's going to talk about that, tell us about that. Paul Markel also joins me on a couple of these interviews, and that's one of them. Also joining us during that interview is Kayla and Heather with Tactical Response, and Kayla and Heather are James Yeager's daughters. They have taken over the business, Tactical Response, since his passing, but you've heard us talk about it. He had a book that he was working on before he passed, and Paul was instrumental in getting that finished up and published, helping them get that published, and it's called The 4 Pillars of Fighting. So Kayla and Heather, we talk about the book. You guys can go to Amazon, you can go to Tactical Response, you can get that book if you haven't got it yet. I know it was on their top selling list there for a while on Amazon. So we've got that. We've got Aaron with CAA, Command Arms Accessories, and they're going to be talking about the new MCK that they have. It used to be called the Micro Roni. Now it's the micro conversion kit, the MCK. It's that chassis system that you can put your Glock. They got several different models, Smith & Wesson, I think, maybe some 1911 variations on that, but they've got some new models of that they've released. We're going to be talking about that. And they've also got a new 9mm rifle that's still in R&D phases, but they talk about it as well. Aaron talks about that. Our good buddy Adam Ranalla with Century Arms Canik. We talk a little more about their MICRO Mete Canik that they've got released, the 9mm. Great interview with those two guys. You're going to enjoy that one. And then also sitting down with Paul and I is John Baily with EOTECH. And he gives us a little brief history on EOTECH. We talk about some night sights, hog hunting, thermal optics, long-range shooting. Really good conversation with Paul. Jared, I think, also sits down with us on that, Jared Markel. But all those in this episode. So, like I said, this is one of those you're going to want to get a drink. You want to sit back. You want to take your time. Listen to a little bit here, a little bit there, because I know it's going to be a busy week for you guys with the 4th of July and everything going on. And in honor of Independence Day and the 4th of July, let's give a big welcome to Talking Lead's newest sponsor, 4 Patriots, Leadheads. That's right, 4 Patriots. You guys have probably heard of them. They're known for their survival food. They've got a whole lot more than that they offer. Guys, it's not too hard to imagine a world where you wake up one day and a hurricane has hit your town or your city, or there's been a pandemic that strikes the world, or any sort of unimaginable event that happens. Flood, tornadoes, outrageous interest rates, the economy plunging in free fall. So does that sound familiar? Very familiar, because this has happened in our lifetimes. It's happening right now. A lot of us weren't prepared for that. Millions of Americans found themselves scrambling to make ends meet, and wondering how they're going to put food on the table. Things get ugly, and they get ugly fast. And the answer is simple, man. It's self-reliance. You got to rely on yourself. Be prepared. And 4 Patriots helps you do that. They've got long-lasting, delicious food options. They're specifically designed to provide you and your loved ones with the nutrition you need when you need it. Another great thing about this company is, it's an American company. Right here in Tennessee, right here, my home state, Tennessee, proud. Another reason why I'm proud to have them as a sponsor. Their food kits are hand-packed here in the U.S. They last up to 25 years. They come packed inside covert storage totes. So when you order these, they show up on your doorstep. Your neighbors or someone's not going to see that and know what it is. And they have a wide variety of breakfasts, lunches, dinners, and it's backed by a 365-day guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied with your purchase, no questions asked, they're going to give you your money back, 100%. So you can't go wrong with this, guys. And like I said, I've tried their 72-hour food kit. I've got more on the way that I'm testing out, trying. But over the last few months, I've tried this out, and I love it. Absolutely tastes great. It's nutritious. It's got the calories that you need, and it gives you independence. Independence from the government, independence from grocery stores, and peace of mind. So right now, you can go to 4patriots.com, use the code ALLCAPSLEADHEAD. You're going to get 10% off your first purchase on anything in the store. That includes their non-food items as well. They've got a whole slew of things on their website, guys. They've got power and solar products. They've got water, RV camping, home and garden, and they're constantly adding new products to their website. So go there now. Use the code ALLCAPSLEADHEAD. You're going to get 10% off your first purchase. And also, guys, go to their social medias. Go to their Facebook. Go to their Instagram. Shoot them an email. Let them know how much you appreciate them jumping on board, being sponsors of Talking Lead and the Leadhead Brigade. I guarantee you guys show them the love, and they're going to give it back to you. So go let them know that you're a Leadhead and you appreciate them. And wish them a happy 4th of July. Again, that's 4patriots.com. Use the code ALLCAPSLEADHEAD. Protect yourself, your loved ones from the storms ahead. You'll be glad you did. And speaking of protection, Seal 1, the complete CLP Plus Cleaner Lubricant Protector, Seal one and done. Protect your firearms, protect your knives, protect your bows, protect your marine items. Anything that could rust, corrode, Seal one will protect it. Clean it and protect it. Also lubes, because it's a CLP. It's not your normal CLP, though. Follow the directions. It's a dry lubricant, so you put it on and you wipe it off. So follow the directions, and you're not going to go wrong. You're going to love Seal 1. Use the code LEADHEAD, lowercase LEADHEAD, seal1.com, 25% off. And guys, this is the 4th of July. Everybody's running like these spectacular deals too, so my codes may not be as good as maybe the deals that they're running now. So go to their websites, check out their special deals that they're running for the holidays. I'm not mad. Like I said, I don't get anything for these codes other than they know that you guys are using them and you're part of the Leadhead Brigade. So if you don't use the code, let them know that you're part of Talking Lead and the Leadhead Brigade and you heard about them here. Mission First Tactical. Go to missionfirsttactical.com, Leadhead, 20% off. They've got a slew of new products there that you guys don't want to miss, and they've got more on the way. Go check them out, missionfirsttactical.com, Leadhead, 20% off there. And, of course, our buddies at EOTECH, mentioned them earlier. We got the big giveaway coming with them and several other companies that I've mentioned in some previous episodes there. That's coming. We're getting it underway. But in the meantime, you can go to their website. Anything in their shop, 15% off, Leadhead. Firearms excluded. They don't sell firearms on their website anyway. But you can go to their shop, any of their accessories, any of their swag, 15% off. Use the code LEADHEAD. 15% off, keeltech.com. All right, that does it for my plugs. We're getting into these interviews, and I will see you guys on the tail end of this with a few more words. Talk to you soon.
All right, we're coming back with one more segment from the NRA annual meeting, Indianapolis, Indiana, 2023, from the EOTECH booth. And I am joined by my good friend, Lefty.
Howdy.
Also known as Marty from Talking Lead. And on my right, your left, John Baily from EOTECH.
How's it going? Good to be here.
Oh, man, fantastic. John and I have known each other for, 37, 45 years?
Yeah.
Well,
goes back to 1962, I think, doesn't it?
well, it's not quite that long, but we have known each other in the business for...
We were in the war together.
For a long time. And talk about... You were in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, in and out. Things have changed. And that's something I want people to know about. In our industry, we like to grab a hold of things. We're like, well, in 1992, Smith & Wesson did a blurp. Like, well, okay, but it's not 1992 anymore. Well, it's like with the NRA. It's somebody, a wonderful, kind human being from the expanded fan base said, why would you go to the NRA? In 1934, they had a chance to stop the, it's like, bro. All those people are dead. All the people who were in the NRA in 1934 are dead.
They're gone.
They're dead now. Okay.
I think some of their legacy passed on, though.
Yeah. But, tell us about the kind of the real quick history of EOTECH and how things are different today than they were, 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster for sure, mostly in a good way, but, we had technology in 1996 that nobody ever saw. There were red dots going back to heck when you and I first met in the 1960s, and that hasn't changed much at all in a technology standpoint, but and it wasn't even EOTECH at the time, but there was holographic technology that finally was able to turn into something. It's been worked on for, going back to the 50s, but they were never able to put it into anything that's useful other than like your fighter jet heads-up display. So in 1990, they finally were able to get components and lasers and all that to such a small size that a gun sight seemed to work. So they kicked that off, and they didn't have a brand. They had a little bit of acceptance, and they got Bushnell to put their name on it. And Bushnell was one of the biggest companies in our industry at that time, and still are. But that really kind of gave us the drive and the eyes on us to kind of start growing that product. At the same time, some people came by from the military and they looked at it and said, this would be really, really cool, but it can't be this. It's got to be ruggedized. So we started working on the ruggedized portion of it, and EOTECH kind of began, and we started selling to them. Bushnell was selling to the commercial business, and at the same time, you know, the assault weapons ban was about to expire, and assault weapons were going to kind of be a bigger thing, and you know, so everything just kind of aligned really well. And we got a contract with the military, and that helped give us credibility, and it just blossomed from there. So come 2005, 2006, we were doing really, really well and caught the eyes of a big contract manufacturer or contract company, L3 Communications, and our original owners sold us to them. And you would think maybe that's a good thing, and you know, they infused a lot of money into our business, so that was the good thing. The rest was really horrible. You know, they threw bureaucracy and red tape, and they didn't know our business. They wouldn't let us market. They wouldn't give us the money to market. So even though we were having the success and we had all the credibility and we had government contracts and we had the commercial business, they were really holding us back. So they at one point let me go. You know, I built the whole marketing department. You know, I worked in every department other than finance, I think, at some point. So they let me go, and they eventually merged with a bigger corporation, Harris, and those two didn't do that well with us. And they finally said, you know what, we're getting rid of all the commercial segments in our portfolio. So they ended up selling us in 2020, and we're now owned by two guys that are just awesome. I mean, they understand the business. They want to grow. They know it takes money to grow. It takes new products to grow, all of those things, and they're infusing all of that stuff. We got a great management staff. Basically, they said, let's bring all the cool people back from, you know, from the EOTECH days, and I came back in 2020, and it's just been awesome ever since. We got great products. We got new night vision. We got new pistol sights. We're working on a on-gun laser system to kind of go after some of those app peels and D-balls that are out there. So we're really, really flying. We're real happy.
I am really glad that you brought up the night vision because, and congratulations for being back. It makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Because if those of you who know, the EOTECH was with us way back when Paul Markel sat down with a yellow note tablet and wrote the word student of the gun across the top of it, and then started scripting out.
This one, it was an idea.
This one was an idea, and I contacted my friend Johnny. I'm going to do a TV show.
Yeah.
And he said, I will help you and I'll support you. And you were there from the very beginning.
Great times.
Very beginning. And we've done lots of stuff with EOTECH. You know, I back in the old, you know, dead tree days when we used to kill trees and put ink on them and stuff like that. You know, that's how long it's been, you know, back since the 90s. But when you say night vision, that's relatively, I mean, there's the cool guys have been into it, but the average person really isn't so much. And because 10 years ago, it was, well, let's face it was priced out of most people's market.
Right.
You know, when who's the guys up in New Hampshire?
Insight?
Insight, yeah. When I first saw back in the beginning of GWAT an Insight handheld thermal imager, they're like, I said, how much is this? And they said, well, it's going to go for around $50,000.
$50,000. Yeah.
So the average person is probably not
change.
putting a $50,000 thermal imager on their gun.
Yeah.
But as time has gone by, and this is the way it always is, you know, red dots, lasers, whatever, the products get better and they become more and more affordable as they're able to do that.
And they become smaller.
They do, yep.
The one thing that Jared and I both encountered was hunting hogs in Texas with guys at night. Because in the summertime when it's hot in Texas, the only time to kill hogs is at night.
Yep.
Because they won't come out in the day. It's just too hot. They just lay around and then they come out at night. And if you're going to kill them, you have to kill them in the dark. But that's dicey with people who are inexperienced, especially if they're inexperienced with the equipment.
Oh, and throw any other game that might be there. I mean, you got cattle, you got deer, you got all kinds of stuff that if you don't know what you're shooting, you get in trouble pretty quick.
And when you know, at night, even if you're, you know, you have lights on your vehicles or whatever, and you have your normal vision, then you throw up an optic and your peripheral just shrank dramatically. And people can walk into, you know, a guy can drop down to a knee, it's completely dark, he throws it up, he sees it, and his buddy does not know what's going on. he walks right in front of him as the gun goes bang. That is a dangerous situation. And something that we at Student of the Gun, we're obviously all about education and training and so forth, and helping people to be the safest and most effective with the equipment they have. And help me out here, John. Do you know of anyone? You know, our idea, Jared and I, we saw that, and we saw that those close call moments were like, whoa.
Like in person.
Saw that. We're like, that was dicey, and we need to reel it in, and we need to make sure that everybody on the team is tight,
right?
Because you can't. It's not like regular hunting, you know. And we want people to be able to have that experience, but at the same time, we want them to not shoot their friends,
right?
So how do we do that? Are you aware of anyone that's doing a night hunting safety program course primer?
Not at all.
Because that's something that we've wanted to do. And obviously the best way to do that is to partner with somebody who's actually invested in it. And I think if a night vision manufacturer were to say, hey, we want you to buy our products, we want you to use them successfully, effectively, and we also want everybody to be safe while they're doing it. Because let's face facts, we just talked about that earlier, is the other side's always waiting for us to slip up.
Oh, yeah.
And all it's going to take is, you know, somebody to get shot at night, for some of their people to scream, and then the legislators like, oh, we need to change. We're going to have to.
Well, no, they're just gonna have one on the next mass murder. All of a sudden there'll be a night vision sight on there.
The next
It'll just show up.
Do you want to know the 2 best ways to have the most fun you can with your clothes on?
Sure.
One is strap an EOTECH to an AR and get in a helicopter, shoot some hogs.
Yeah.
Number 2 is strap an EOTECH to a Keltec KSG and shoot some combat clays.
Oh, yeah.
We sent you those pictures, right?
Yeah, I saw them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Jared, you should see people's faces when you walk out onto a trap range with a KSG with an EOTECH on it, and these old FUD dudes with the brake opens are like, what? What are you planning to do with that?
Dude, it was so awesome.
But the great thing with the EOTECH reticle, once you figure the lead, once you use the reticle to calculate
it's like
lead,
cheating.
It's over with. It's over with. Yeah. People are like, you did that for real? Oh, we have video.
Was this the regular size KSG, or was this like their super long?
It was the original one. It was the original KSG.
OG, baby.
Yeah, those are the OG KSG.
You take that extra long one out there now.
Well, I take the extra long one everywhere with me.
Zach, you take Zach everywhere?
So you've got night vision, and you also have precision optics. You have long-range optics now.
Yeah.
I want to make sure people know that.
Yep. So in 2016, you know, holographic sight was just still doing really, really well. But we were, and self-admittedly, we were always a one-trick pony. It was just that. I mean, we came out with magnifiers that kind of made it a little bit better for medium range, but you're not going to put an EOTECH on if you want to shoot 400 or 500 yards. You're going to put a scope on there.
Right.
So we wanted to come out with magnified scopes. You really can't. There's 1 or 2 companies that do it in the States, but you really can't do it that well. So we partnered with a company in Japan, and to our specs, our design, our industrial style, we came out with a line of rifle scopes that really kind of support our brand, our quality, you know, all of the testing that goes through it. We're ridiculous when it comes to testing and proving out products. So yeah, we came out with a 1-6, a 2-10, and a 3.5 to 18 the first time, and our 1-6 just went nuts. And it's because we did it as a first focal plane optic. And usually you don't really have much value in a first focal plane in a 1-6. But what's really cool about it is we have our circle dot, or our donut of death that people call it, and that's in the holographic sight. We put that in our 1-6 at 1x. So when you're shooting 1x, you still see that ring, and you see a dot, and it's true 1x, and eye relief is great. But the minute you dial that, like a first focal plane reticle, that all kind of expands and gets out of the sight picture, and then you have a really detailed crosshair for longer range shooting.
Technology, my friend.
So, I mean, it was just a ridiculously simple idea that nobody's ever done, and it just went nuts. So we now have it in our newer 1-10 in a first focal plane.
1-10.
Yeah, yeah. And we did long range. We have a bench rest optic. We've got a couple hunting optics. So it's doing really, really well. We're really proud of the line. And
yeah, the line is Voodoo.
Voodoo, yeah.
Voodoo. The line is Voodoo. VUDU.
Yep.
VUDU.
VUDU.
Is that an acronym for something?
It's not. It's kind of funny. People ask us why we called it that. And, with product development, there's always products that you have that you try to work on and you just can never really release them. There's either supply issues or just technology doesn't catch up. We're always working on one that just never seemed to get there, and I called it Voodoo because if there's going to be some voodoo magic to ever get that thing to release.
Yeah.
And it never did, but we're like, you know what? We really like the name Voodoo. That'd be kind of cool, a little mysterious and ghostish and all that. So
A little naughty.
Yeah. So we called it Voodoo.
That's right. That's
like
cool.
And from what I've seen, they're very rugged.
They are.
They're very rugged optics.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you could do with magnified optics that's different than anybody else. So accuracy and consistency and tolerances and precision are really the only things you can focus on. Everybody I talk to that shoots or has looked through a Voodoo, it's really our glass clarity that stands us from everybody else. There's just really no distortion, no colors or anything like that. It's just really, really good glass, and then our turrets track really well. So we're proud of it, but and you're going to shoot well with them.
Well, John has promised that either himself, and he's always invited, or somebody from EOTECH is going to come out to Wyoming. And
Well, it won't be somebody without me present.
Well, there you go. I'm not trying to pin you down to come to Wyoming to do our long range because in Wyoming we stretch it out.
I know. Well,
we stretch it out.
You had me at a mile. When I first heard that, I'm like, yeah, I have to go there. This has to be done.
Wyoming folk are riflemen. And it got to the point where they built a berm at 1 mile, and then the guys are like, this is too easy. Can we put one at 1.5 miles?
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, you see that mountain right there? Yeah. We'll put one, we'll use the mountain as a backstop, and we'll put one up there on the mountain. Now, the truth is there's only about that many, and I'm holding up 5 figures for the radio audience, cartridges that can reliably get to 1.5, but it can be done. It can be done. And we did it last summer. We were out at 1.5, and the cool thing is, if you're wearing electronic ear pro that dial it up, you can you can hear the ding.
Really?
It's funny because we were online. We had about 10, 12 people or something, and everybody with electronic ear pro, when the shot broke, and it's like, and everyone with electronics like, I heard it.
No kidding.
Yeah, and the people that just had regulars didn't, but we could hear the ding.
Wow.
With the electronic. It's good. We're at 7,300 feet above sea level, and you can do things with bullets out there that you just can't do.
Yeah.
At sea level or on the East Coast.
There's trees in the way.
Yeah, you just don't have anything that's 2 miles clear.
Yeah, it's just cheating. Really, it is. And if you ever want to learn how to dope wind, go to Wyoming.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to do it. And whether it's handguns, rifles, shotguns, whatever, the best way, people like to read books, and read books is great. People like to watch YouTube videos, and that's whatever. But the fact is, if you really want to have an understanding, you just got to do it. You just got to get out there, and you just got to do it. And that's what we encourage people to do. It's kind of like climbing into a helicopter with an EOTECH. And have you killed hogs with an EOTECH? From a helicopter?
I should have more experience doing that. We went down one time. We were in Texas for another reason, and we went to go visit a guy that does that. And so he took us up, but it was in the summer. And it's all the foliage is up there, so those hogs are protected, and the helicopter doesn't push them out. So didn't have an opportunity, but he got a phone call. He's like, all right, there's one out in the field. So went out, I blasted one.
Oh, okay.
So I can technically say I did it, but I didn't really do it the way you're supposed to do it.
Well, the great thing about that EOTECH optic, and I don't need to blow smoke up John's butt because this is true, is when you're in a helicopter and they start running and you mirror them, you have to lag at the
That's
animal.
right. It's almost reverse.
It's
right?
reverse.
Yeah.
People like you normally, if you're in a deer stand and it's running, you're like, oh, put it on its nose, press the trigger, it'll hit in the boiler room. Well, the way it was explained to us by our trainers was that, look, the helicopter's actually going faster than the animal is. It's your perception. So if you lead, the bullet's going to go way out in front of it. And with an EOTECH and with the tick marks, the north, south, east, west tick marks, he said, look, put the EOTECH tick mark on its butt and press the trigger. And he says, it's going to seem weird because you're going to seem like you're holding behind it. He said, but the helicopter's actually going faster than the animal is. And that's the only, and once you learn to do that, and once you learn that delicate dance, or when it moves around, it gives you that heads up. And of course, it needs to be a heads up because you're wearing an aviation headset.
Right.
So you can't get a normal cheek weld. So what we had was a riser, and you've got your holographic weapon sight. And as you know, Marty, or what I'm sure, is that when it's with the holographic weapon sight, as long as it's zeroed, it doesn't matter where you perceive it to be. Your perception,
as long as it's on target, it's
on target. So if you don't have a perfect cheek weld, which you're never going to have in a helicopter or a situation like that, it's okay. It's okay. So we put down hogs and coyotes, and it was so great.
So our helicopter driver was amazing.
Yeah, he was retired Army
driver. Driver?
Yeah, flyer. Whatever. Did I say driver?
Pilot, maybe?
Yeah, pilot. Did I say driver? Really?
Yeah, you did.
They do call them drivers, though.
Yeah.
So
fighter pilots.
He's an eagle. He's an eagle driver.
Yeah. So he was able to. I don't remember if the foliage was really bad, like when you were there, but he was able to do something with the helicopter where it was like he would
flare
them out. Yeah, you like flare it, and it would go woo woo, and it would make them run.
Did you guys have sirens and noises that?
No.
Oh yeah,
he did.
Ours had sirens.
No way.
Yeah, he's like, hit the siren. You hit a button, and
then
it's like a fire truck, and they start running.
Wow.
Oh.
That's smart.
Ours played the flight of the Valkyries.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
right.
yours is better.
I mean, that's kind of like a.
Man, he took us through this river bend. It was like banking off. It was so awesome, man.
You bring up that reticle. You can learn a lot using those reticles. We were just talking about duck hunting and stuff like that before, or you were talking about skeet and stuff like that. But you can use that reticle. I've always told people that if you put the circle on their beak like they're pushing the reticle, and it's automatically your lead.
Yep.
Same thing with turkey hunting. That ring is essentially your shotgun pattern all the way out as far as you want, because that ring is getting bigger and bigger as it goes further out. So you can really, if you learn about your reticle, simple circle with ticks, you can do a lot with it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it is a projected hologram. All right, that is it for our time. John Baily, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us, old friend. And Marty and Jared and myself. And it looks like, that's going to put the cap on the Student of the Gun portion here at the NRA Annual Meeting 2023. Thank you very much to my guest and to Talking Lead and to Kel-Tec and to the city of Indianapolis for not shooting me last night.
There was a lot of shootings, apparently.
Yeah. So I'm glad that I didn't get shot while I was here or had to shoot somebody, so that's always a positive. But
you're not left yet.
Yeah, I haven't left yet, so don't jinx it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, remember, you're a beginner once,
you're a student for life.
The multi-mount is a simple yet flexible platform that allows you to conveniently mount your everyday items wherever you may need them. A rugged 1.5-inch belt locks into the mount, allowing the attachment of any item that uses a clip or belt loop. With the quick release tab, you can easily swap out essential gear as needed. Ideal for mounting comms, tourniquets, lights, firearms, and more. The options are almost limitless. The platform comes with 2 backer options, either 3M adhesive or Coke backing, giving you adaptability and endless options on where you can mount your needed items. Access your essential equipment in your preferred configuration. Carry what you need, where you need, with our multi-mount platform, available now.
For your exclusive Talking Lead listener discount, use the code LEADHEAD for 20% off at checkout.
All right, Leadheads, we are back at the 2023 NRA convention here in Indy at the Kel-Tec booth, the official lead quarters, bringing you all the action, all the information from this year's NRA. And joining me now, I've got 2 of probably the most popular booths at NRA, probably the most traveled, most talked about. We've got Aaron with CAA.
Yes, sir.
And we've got our good buddy, new friend to the show. He's never been on the show before. Adam, what's your last name?
Rob blah blah blah.
Rob blah blah.
Rob blah blah.
Renala.
Yep.
Joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in.
Thank you, brother.
So you guys have had a busy show, I can tell, because I haven't been there yet, but just looking out at the crowd that was here yesterday was unreal.
Yeah, you know, it's always nice to see, you know, and you never really know what the crowd's going to be. But Friday was strong. Yesterday was just absolute gangbusters. I mean, it was every time you turned around, there was a whole new group of faces in your booth.
It seemed like everybody showed up.
It did. You know, today's quieter, and that's okay.
Well, it's raining. It's Sunday. Yeah.
Yes, it's the Lord's Day, you know. So, but no, the show's been wonderful. You know, this is all the people. This is one of those shows that it is exhausting to be working a booth here, but it's so incredibly important because ultimately these are the people that we all do this for. This is the end user. This is the guy that is passionate enough about it to drive across the country to come to your booth. This is the guy that's actually never even shot a gun before, but he's like, if I'm going to jump in and I'm going to go find out what I want, what I need, he's coming to the show if he's within a couple 100 miles. This is...
Or further.
Yeah, this is the man, this is the woman that is so invested in the 2A community that they will drop everything to be here, and they just want the time that you're offering. And so no matter how tired you are, no matter how annoyed you might get by people stealing every patch in the booth,
that's what they're there for. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. These are the reason we do what we do, and it's an honor to be here. It really is. I mean, I think this show is more important than SHOT Show.
Oh, absolutely.
I really do.
Because, like you said, this is the end user. This is where your product is ending up.
Yes.
And to get there, you know, them to come by, you know, it's a big thing for them to see the people who make the products that they love.
I have to agree. I've got to agree with everything that Adam said. We work hard for all the people that come out here. And with myself being newer to the community, just seeing how everybody comes together with these events, and like you said, they travel across the world sometimes. They come out here, see the new products, see what we have to offer, and it's a great experience all around.
And not only to mention that, but also, you know, people that have been using your products for years, and they just have questions, or they just want to tell you how much they appreciate, you know, you guys and what you do, and looking forward to the next, you know, the latest and greatest from you.
And I think we lose sight on that sometimes. These people, not only do they love your product, but a lot of these people, for us, you know, with the new MICRO Compact and some of these things like this, for Aaron and CAA in terms of like a truck gun, these people not only love your product, but they're counting on it.
Absolutely.
And when it hits the fan and they've got to make a decision, and they, as Rachel was saying a second, we were talking off camera, when they go to gun, they're going and you're using yours in a moment that could literally define the rest of their life or their loved one's life.
Yes.
They're putting their faith in your product. You realize how, like, that is such a profound statement.
Yes.
And that's not something we can ever take for granted as a community, as a gun company. It's so big. I mean, your product could be the determining factor if they go home.
Yeah, and you guys have some new product that people have been very excited.
Yeah.
You know, we had this. Were you here when we were having the micro and macro discussion?
No.
Okay, so we had a gentleman on the show that was defining what micro, because this seems like micro just popped up at it. I thought it was just a subcompact.
Right.
You know, first you had compact, then you get subcompact.
Now you got
micro compact. You know, so there's actually a difference.
No, there's a definable difference.
And
absolutely.
you guys have come out with a micro Canik.
Right. So we actually came up with the Mete MC9 micro compact.
There you go.
And you know, it was one of those guns that was something that we recognized was a huge need for the community. I mean, everybody knows 40% of all handguns sold in this country now are falling into that subcompact, micro compact categories, because concealable options are so important now, and they're so legitimized. You know, actually having an option that isn't going to be as bulky, isn't going to print, isn't going to take up your entire purse. Whatever the situation may be, it's just a more feasible option. And we knew we weren't ever going to be first to market. You know, at Canik, we're very okay with saying, like, recognizing the work that some of our competitors did to Trailblaze. I mean, the P365 from Sig Sauer is a fantastic gun.
Sure.
The Hellcat from Springfield is a great gun. A little bit bigger, but the Glock 43 is something that's iconic in its own sense.
Yeah.
The Micro Compact from Canik, what we said, all right, what did these industry giants, do right? And what did, as they were trailblazing, what did maybe they miss a little? Maybe not
Which
even
is
miss.
smart on your part. It's
Yeah.
like, let's let them go out, test the market, and find what it is that maybe they missed the mark on a little bit.
And that's
we're
what
gonna-
Canik. That's what
we're going to
Canik-
come in and
That's part of our success.
it's like,
is
oh,
we
you're
literally
missing that here? Well, guess what?
we
got it
genuinely listen. We listen to what the consumer is asking for, and then we deliver on that. And that's how we're going to compete in this market. That's how we're going to continue to have the numbers we have and grow, and ultimately continue to, revitalize what we're trying to do. By actually listening. And people said, I love my Micro Compact. I wish it was optics ready on the box. I wish it co-witnessed. I wish it wasn't quite as snappy. I wish I could hold on to this gun a little bit
Just
better.
a little extra, yeah.
Yeah, and we
For
said,
the
okay, what
pinky.
can we do? So we did things, every Micro Compact comes optics ready, does co-witness, is ambidextrous, 12 plus 1, 15 plus 1, takes any Canik mag, which was a big thing when you're training.
Right.
You can put a 20-round TP9 SFX mag into it and run it no problem. And then the snappy thing, we said, well, what can we do? So on the Mete frame, we noticed that it's actually the beaver tail is ergonomically redesigned to seat your hand a little bit higher into the gun. And what it does, people are like, man, this gun is way less snappy than these others. It's actually the exact same.
It's only ergonomics.
The width of the gun is the same as a P365. The height and the length, they're all the same as the 365 and Hellcat. But the way your hand is actually positioned there, while still feeling natural to your normal shooting position, is actually absorbing a lot of that recoil. And that was just something that we were able to add that maybe wasn't there before because it hadn't even been recognized as a problem. So it's not like Sig and Springfield didn't address something that was an issue. Nobody even knew it would be an issue.
Right.
So we were able to do that. And being able to deliver it at a price point that we are has just helped it be gangbusters. And we're just absolutely honored to have this as a new product offering, and it's crushing it. It's absolutely crushing it.
I remember, back in the day when Canik was first introduced to the American market, it's been
over a decade now.
Yeah, almost, over 10 years.
Yeah.
And tactical response.
That's a decade, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you for clarifying.
Over.
Yeah.
Tactical response. I remember we went out there for a training day, media day, and they had it out there, and everybody was like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
And we were throwing it in the mud, we were stomping on it, and even back then, it was very reliable, very.
Yeager is still for over 5 years, they still had the same Caniks. And, his family's still running them.
Yeah.
And that guy, let's be honest, that was a good friend of ours. And
absolutely.
Crusty, grouchy old guy when he wanted to be. But man, if he believed in a product, he was your best.
Sure.
He was
using it, it was a solid product.
And man, those Caniks that they have, that they're still running, they run as training guns if somebody needs one or if somebody's guns go down, have over 50,000 rounds through them.
Wow.
And they're still running like scalded dogs.
Yeah, these are like the first gen.
Yeah. So
you guys have come a long way since then. That was my point is, back then to see you guys mature to where you are now. And the way that you've done it in a very natural progression way. It's not like you've gone out there and you've forced yourself into the market.
Right.
It's been a very grassroots, natural kind of growth that you guys have done. And like you said, you have taken the advice of your users, your end users, and each time you come out with a new firearm,
it's meeting a need.
You've addressed
those,
those wants or needs.
And the way that the consumer, the way that the firearms community has embraced us has been part of what fuels us. And it's not just the end user that's bought our gun. We are now being validated by getting to work with companies like Night Vision. They came to us like, hey, we want to do stuff with you. CAA, they just, probably about 4 or 5 months ago, released an entire line of the Micronis that are Canik specific.
Okay. I did not know. We need to talk about.
Yeah. So and it's been such an honor to work with amazing companies like these guys, and it really says, we're here. Canik's here, man.
Oh, yeah.
And when I started, we were doing 2,000 guns a month, and thought we made it. We were so excited, and we're doing 35,000.
Whoa.
A month, man.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
man.
and it's such a
That's
blessing.
awesome.
It's such a blessing.
That is awesome. And it's good to hear that CAA
Yes,
is also, improving, listening to the market.
we are.
Innovating.
We are.
Very innovative over there. So talk about the newness that's going on with CAA.
So, like Adam said, listening to the market, listening to the people, that's one thing that Mr. Hartman is big into. We listen to what they want. They send us messages, tell us
Does
we
he
need
make
something.
you? Does he make you call him Mr. Hartman?
That's just naturally my
This is
show.
Mikey.
So
Come
Mikey,
on.
we'll go with Mikey. Does sound.
We
like
know
that.
him as Mikey here.
So Mikey, it's just something that listening to that market and adapting to what they need, it just makes it so much easier, like Adam said. And then with us working with Canik now, that was a big thing for us here because the way Canik is coming up, like Adam was also speaking about, and with us teaming up with them with their new models, it was a no-brainer. They've got a magnificent handgun line up there, and then we put in an MCK with our stability platform that we have. It's lights out when we shoot those. So we're definitely excited.
So
about
for our
that.
listeners aren't familiar with the Roni system, talk about that.
So what the MCK, the microconvergent kit is, it's a polymer frame, aluminum rail, and you slide your handgun into the kit. At that point, as we know, with the handgun, you only have 2 points of contact. I don't care how good you are, who you are, what your background is.
How good you are.
You can't get any
You
better.
can't work
than
magic,
You
yeah.
can't work magic, all right? By default, we put our handgun, you put your handgun in the kit, I give you 4 points of contact. With 4 points of contact, it's a more stable shooting platform. You got quicker follow-up shots, less recoil mitigation, and you're working with something that, let's say you're comfortable with a 10, 15-yard shot with your pistol, we'll push you out to 50 yards comfortably. Put a red dot or some sort of magnifier on it. Last week we had Mikey out 300 yards. Put a shot through an MCK. We took a Glock 19 and 300 yards. I've never seen that before.
Nice.
9 will go that distance in an MCK. So it just shows what it can do. And the biggest thing I try to tell people is this, and you guys were kind of talking about it before, is some people say it's a cheat code and blah, 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 blah. But personally, with my background, I'll tell you one thing. Whatever cheat code I need for that day, God forbid you have to utilize a firearm for what it's made for,
right?
Give me the cheat code.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard somebody saying it's a cheat code.
It is.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I'll never forget, I not to go too crazy off it, but I lost a fight when I was in middle school, and a guy kicked me between the legs. And I said, Dad, he's fighting dirty. Yeah. And he goes, what about fighting do you think isn't dirty? Like, win. And that's what I think. That's what MCK.
Like the light bulb.
Yeah, that's what they do.
No rules
they
to
give
fighting.
they give you an advantage, and in that situation, I want every advantage.
Whatever I
can
could
have.
do to up my percentage of winning that fight that day, do it. 'Cause
I'm going home.
Sometimes
I'm
you
going
get
home.
You get
Yeah,
one
yeah.
shot at this thing. You know,
Yeah,
you get one shot. You're either
seeing
going to talk
gold.
about it or you're not going to get. You're going to be talked about.
So have you guys changed the name? Is it MCK now?
Yes. So it's the micro convergent kit. So it was
the
known.
word I used before is no longer.
Yeah,
Okay.
I said it bad too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got me started on it, Adam.
Mikey, don't let Mikey hear that.
MCK.
Yes, MCK.
Micro conversion kit.
Correct.
I actually like that better.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly,
catchy. It's a
yeah.
whole lot catchier. But yeah, so we're teaming up with Canik. We have models for your Glock, SIG, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Taurus, Springfield. I think I've covered all that we have so far, and we're doing a bunch of other models. But as we know, the market, the handgun market, there's so many manufacturers out there, and then by the time one model's out, there's another model, so on and so forth. So
Right.
we're always trying to play catch up.
Trying to
when it
catch
comes
up.
to that. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But just the whole concept behind it, ergonomically, the feel, the hold, everything about
So
it.
what it is, it's a chassis system.
Correct.
So for our listeners who aren't familiar with it, kind of go into the details of what it is, how it works.
So it's a chassis system that is specific to your handgun model. All right. It's a polymer charging handle, or we also have an addition that you can put on your back plate for a different charging handle option, which we can get into that later. You slide your handgun into our kit. It is going to slide forward into the kit, hold on to your handgun at that point in time. There's a little back door that locks in. It gives you your 4 points of contact inside the gun, actually holding that in place. And then
It's an Israeli designed product when you start talking about points of contact.
yes. And that's something that I even had to get used to working once I got out, because I was former law enforcement. Obviously, we have our ways as Americans.
Right.
And just listening to Mikey show different ways. And at first, like, what are you talking about? What are we doing here with our arms?
Points of contact, yeah.
But it makes sense. It 100% makes sense when you actually sit down and train with these guys. I mean, the strongest shape out there is a triangle. Everything they do is shaped by triangles.
Right.
And not utilizing your muscles and using your bone structure to hold.
Their whole shooting doctrine is based on
the triangle.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. So just learning that factor of it. But the whole concept of the MCK, and once it is in the kit, the way you could accessorize it, putting red dots, flashlights, thumb rests,
spikes.
Yes.
Spikes.
Or bayonets if you want to go medieval. We've got
Chainsaws.
Spike. They have a spike.
We legit have a bayonet.
Not a bayonet, it's
on
a
the front.
spike.
It's a spike. Call it what it is. It's a spike.
It's a vampire
It's
slayer.
a vampire
It
slayer.
really
exactly.
is. Have you seen it?
I haven't.
It's for
It's
the
an
zombies.
actual spike.
It's for the zombies.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to bring you guys one.
Nice.
You should take a look at it.
Heck yeah. I've seen a chainsaw. I've seen people have a.
So we have people that customize these things
Yeah.
like no other. I've seen people do Cerakotes of Rugrats on these things. We have
Rugrats.
torches. I have torches on them.
I don't doubt it.
So on and so forth.
I've seen a Hello Kitty one.
Yes, seen that also.
Spikes.
Yes, I'm gonna make one for Adam.
Spikes.
Put a couple of
I just
spikes.
want a spike. Yeah,
So if you want to do a little sternum rub, you put it
yeah
on there.
there you go.
There you go.
So yeah, but that's what we do over CAA with our conversion kits, and it's just like I said, it's something that gives you a force multiplier, honestly. And the beautiful thing about this, and I tell people we don't think about sometimes, is we like buying Gucci guns. As Americans, we love
Yeah.
$10,000 rifles. We like the diamond-plated, gold-plated guns, so
yeah.
on and so forth.
Like our little flash, little bling.
Exactly. So
Well,
this,
it's our culture, and it's our passion. So there's nothing wrong. I put rims on my car because I like my car.
100%.
There's nothing wrong with that.
100%. But when
Called
it comes,
personalizing.
Yeah.
it is 100% that way. But here's the reality of what we do and what we are to utilize these handguns for. It's for protection. God bless your soul that you never have to utilize it for that. But do you want to shoot somebody with a $10,000 rifle and then make that donation to the DA's office? Me, I'm not happy with that.
Yeah.
So what we do here, and the price point on our kits is anywhere between $249 and $349. You buy an X300 Surefire flashlight for $500, so you're going to spend that at some point.
Right.
It's an accessory, throw in a handgun, $400 or $500 pistol. It puts you in a position to, like we talked about again, have a higher percentage of survival rate on things. And God forbid you have to use it. You use it, you have that higher percentage, you win that gunfight.
It makes your tool more usable.
Realistic.
But it gives you more utility for it, so it makes it even more useful.
Correct.
So by using the MCK, I'm going to say
go.
the other word,
That's
the
it.
MCK. That's it. You're adding more usability to your tool
Yes.
And the
that
spike.
you already have.
And they have a spike.
And you have a spike.
Yes.
You can roast marshmallows with that thing.
Or other people. I mean things.
Or wieners.
The opinions and thoughts of all people reflected on the show do not reflect Talking Lead as a whole.
Or Celtic. So a big question that people are going to have, with this kit is, all right, legally, what, am I going to be responsible for, if I'm changing my pistol to, putting in this chassis system, what have I changed it? What have I converted it to?
So right now with the ATF whole mix-up, we'll call it right now, we understand that stabilizers and stocks, if you have a pistol connected to one, you have an SBR, per ATF right now. Per ATF also, they stated that we are good to go on page 80, I believe is line 405, that we can sell the conversion kits for what they are. We'll keep it legal at this point in time.
Right.
If you do insert your pistol into our kit and it does have a brace and or stock on it, yes, your pistol is considered an SBR and you should have that registered. But we do have contingency plans and other options for you in that case. One, our stabilizer or stock does come off. It is removable, and if it is removed, you're good to go.
Okay.
All right.
Do you sell them without it?
We do sell them without, so I'll get to that right now. We have this option called the TAC option. The TAC option, similar to your MP5, the push-pull technique that you have for stability, is how that works. So legit, you take off the stabilizer stock, it's one pin, pops off. We pop on the back plate, it would be similar to a back plate of your Glock, onto the back of our kit, and there's a bungee cord QD mount. Put that QD mount on, put your sling over, and you're good to go when it comes to that, and we don't have to worry about the scenario of registering your pistol as an SBR at that point in time.
Very nice.
Until everything blows over litigation, which we know most
Praying
part,
for the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So
Expecting the worst. But
It's something that you guys have that I thought I don't know if it's out yet, but you're developing that I thought was really interesting is maybe it's not ideal. Maybe it's not exactly what you think is the sexiest look, but if you want to have something like this and you want to be able to utilize those 4 points of contact and you want to be able to put it in your favorite Canik or your Glock or whatever, they now are talking about the longer barrels.
yes.
So for instance, they have a 16-inch barrel that you can, that for the different guns, for a Canik, for a Glock, that you can actually just simply pop your slide, drop your barrel out, put in this 16-inch barrel into your gun. It's going to protrude from the front of your slide, and put that into your MCK. And now, by all definitions, you're running a 16-inch barrel on this. I mean, it's almost kind of like a bullpup style in terms of the length and all. But you have that stock, but you're on a 16-inch barrel, converted off your handgun.
Which
and do you,
by definition, makes it a
rifle?
A rifle,
Not short barreled. Not short barreled. 16
and
inches.
do they? So, and again, in the law, and how they do things. So you bought it as a pistol.
Correct.
But now you've put it in this and you've made it a rifle.
That's what they're saying.
Yes.
But and then it's a short barrel
but
rifle.
That's legal and you can do that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
If you you can, but now if in theory, as the ATF and their omniscient wisdom right now is saying is that pistol is now a short barrel rifle because of this conversion.
Right.
But
I get that part.
But if you put this 16-inch barrel into it and then put it in there, then you've converted it to a rifle. And it's a legal full-size rifle. You don't have to register
on the back.
You don't have to register to the SMR, which I thought is cool. Fine. None of us agree with this. Let's just be very candid. No. None of us agree in the industry as a community. We don't agree with the idea of these laws. We just have to say this. In terms of if we're going to be out, there's no point, in my opinion, of blatantly trying to just buck the system and get yourself in a jam.
Right.
You protect your freedoms, you stand for what you believe, and you continue to, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But if you're going to be out at the range and you want to be comfortable and you want to just enjoy your day with your family and stuff, maybe that's not the time that you choose to really make your stand.
Pick your battles.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Pick your battles, because you never know who's going to be at that range that's going to call.
And you know what? Ultimately, if you say this is my battle, good on you, brother. Yeah. But what we're saying is, if you want to do this, play the long game instead of a short thing, CAA is providing options for that, and for that I give them kudos.
And that's the big thing too, is the providing options.
Yeah,
but I like that too, and I like the not because of this issue that we're having with the ATF right now, but I like the fact that you've got the option to have the longer barrel because you get it's adding to the performance of your firearm at that point. Like you say, you can reach out a little further now. You get a little more accuracy. With that, you could shoot maybe a different load that you weren't.
100%.
You're going to shoot with
your plus P in there and throw that round a little further out if you need to.
Exactly.
So, but definitely it's something that, like we said before, again, is the options. People want options. You have options. You want to do a further shot. You want for some CQB scenario.
They have spikes.
Plus, they have the spikes. Let's not forget that. Can you just buy a spike?
You can. You can get you hooked up with a spike. I'm going to send one over to Adam.
Now, you guys do a lot more than just the MCK.
Yeah, so
you guys offer a full line of accessories for
we have a couple of things here. We have a full line of accessories, and we're also stepping into the firearms market. So we're in the process of getting some PCCs up and running here.
Okay.
If you haven't had a chance to take a look at the AGADA, which is a whole different concept, and honestly, I'd have to show you what we have going on with that.
What's it called?
The AGADA. It's
AGADA.
Legend in
Hebrew. That sounds like something that little baby said a minute ago.
It's something like that. So what the AGADA is, it's going to be our 9mm PCC rifle, all right? But the concept is a little bit different. As Americans, we're used to the straight line broomstick rifle style, right? And honestly, with little fine muscles, it gets a little bit uncomfortable punching out like that every now and then. So in Mikey's intelligence, he decided, why not put yourself in a position where you're in a natural fighting position? Because naturally, what do? When you get into that position, your hands up, boxing stance, UFC kind of style.
That triangle.
Exactly. The triangle. We're back to the triangle. So the AGADA is a creation where you have a front grip. It's more of an angled downward grip, and then your master grip is a downward trigger pull grip. All right, it's hard to explain over.
And is this out right now?
This is a 3D concept we have out.
Okay.
And engineering
Are there pictures somewhere?
We have a 3D concept at the booth.
An actual one in the booth.
Yeah, we got one in the booth. Right
now. I've got to go see that.
Yes, 100%.
I wish you brought it over here. That would have been awesome.
I definitely should have, but I'll bring it back.
I'll come over there.
So it's definitely something that's outside of the box, but I mean that's how some of the biggest things.
It's in a triangle.
Yeah,
it's
I'm sorry. It's a triangle.
I can't. I'm not.
It's a triangle
outside the triangle. Outside
blowing
the
my mind right now. I haven't.
And when you see it, it blows your mind even more. Just the whole concept.
It looks like a movie gun. It's crazy.
Yes, 100%. So that's one thing we have going on there, and then we have another one called the Apollo. All right, the Apollo should be out hopefully by the end of the year. It's going to be a 9mm, a 223, and a 10mm option that we have cooking up over there. We actually had it out at the Gundies, and we did a little shooting with it. Had it up and running. So we're going to have one of those also, and it's going to have the MCK look, but it's not something that you can be inserting your Glock, pistol, SIG, so on and so forth. It's going to be a standalone PCC rifle, and it's going to be something that is definitely...
Have you seen this AGADA? Is it
the AGADA?
The AGADA?
No.
That's what I was doing with my... He blew my mind talking about so.
Will they offer spikes for the AGADA?
For Adam, we're going to do a special spiked edition.
Spiked edition?
A spiked edition to Adam. A little bit of bedazzlement on it.
A little bedazzle? You're going to bedazzle it?
But yeah, so we're going to be in the market here soon with firearms. We're going to be producing those hopefully by the end of the year. We'll push the first Apollo out.
Okay.
And definitely.
So, Led, I'm going to go get pictures. I'm going to go there and get some pictures of this. I'll post it up on our social media so you get a look at it and see exactly. Because I'm just.
It'll blow your mind.
I'm not smart enough, I guess, to picture this.
It'll blow your mind.
Well,
you know.
Yeah.
I thought you were pretty smart.
I just think you're not smart enough.
For everyone who doesn't know, this is John Baily. He is the big man at EOTECH.
John, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you joining us, buddy.
You know.
Yeah.
Aaron, by the way.
John Baily, good to meet you, man.
So, you got to get up to the mic.
All righty.
Get up to the mic there. I know you guys.
Yeah,
I've got to go.
I've got to go.
So thank you for joining us, Adam. I'm going to see you.
I'll see you in a couple of days when we marry our boy.
That's right. We'll get Drew married up.
Yeah, you
get him hitched. I got my shotgun. He ain't leaving.
We got to get a spike on.
Do you need a spike?
Yeah, you need a spike.
I'll get you a spike.
That would be awesome.
I'll get you a spike.
We got to get a spike for the wedding.
There we go.
Right?
There we go.
His and her spikes.
Well, thank you so much.
That's going to be my gift.
Thank you so much.
I haven't got the wedding gift yet.
I haven't either. I bought wine. Not a joke. I bought him 2 cases of wine. I'm going to drink most of it. It's going to be fine.
Well, you got to get tuned in for your toast.
Yeah. My toast is going to crush it. But thank you so much for having us, brother. Thank you for what you do. Obviously,
always welcome.
You know, keeping people informed and having open dialogue is, I think, one of the most important things to continue when we're being attacked from all sides. And we really are. And that's just the reality of it. And it's not going to stop. And I think the only way is to keep people informed. People like you and Paul Markel, obviously, you know, what you guys do is so crucial. Not only do people, I think, listen because they enjoy it, and it's, you know, an insight into the industry, kind of behind the curtain, if you will. But I think it's also important to see that the people that are actually representing, like EOTECH, like CAA, like Canik, like Century, we actually are just as passionate. And the fact that, like, Caltech will have you in their booth and open this up as a forum, I think is so crucial for people to realize that these people in this industry, while we technically may be competitors in some sense, we're in this together, and everybody comes together as a community when it really matters. And I think we have to continue to do that and realize that no matter if you're a SIG guy or a Smith & Wesson guy or a Glock guy or a Canik guy or a Caltech guy or a Mossberg or whatever, EOTECH or Aimpoint.
Or High Point.
Exactly. You know what?
Come on.
The reality is that ultimately what we're doing, it doesn't matter if you're Chevy or Ford. We're on the same road, going the same direction, and as long as we can stay on that path together, it's going to be damn hard to take us down. And I think that's what we have to say.
I like Dodge.
I'm voting for him for president.
Right?
Get her done.
Well, we appreciate
I don't know what just happened there. Blacked out.
I don't know what I think you're warming up for your toast at the wedding there.
We're going in a very different direction for the toast.
I can't wait for this. But
man.
We appreciate you and your voice that you have for this community, the firearms industry. Your strong voice. You're headed to Washington.
Yeah, so we're going to the NSS congressional fly-in tomorrow. So we'll be there for 2 days, meeting with members of our legislation, Congress, and Senate, speaking to them about how that we're holding them accountable. We appreciate what they're doing, but we're watching. And we're as an industry, as a 2A person, we're watching you.
We're watching
and
you guys.
we are your constituents, and we are holding you to a level of accountability that we expect you. It's part of the reason we put you in office.
I think if we sent all of our proponents that are 6'7", 6'8",
I'm just gonna go tower up. We'll send Aaron, man.
Send Aaron,
pythons, yeah.
All right, stand up. Do you guys both stand up?
He's got me.
Does he
got you by a
Oh,
little
he's
bit?
definitely got you.
Couple inches, yeah. Couple inches there.
Size queen.
I'll stand with you then.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
thank
you
you.
guys coming on. Tell Mikey I appreciate
Will do.
everything that you guys are doing, and we got to get you back on, and we'll talk about some of your other
Yeah,
products.
we'll definitely talk some more, but we appreciate
on the
it
regular
100%.
show.
And like Adam said, I'll just stamp that. We appreciate you being a voice for everything we do.
Absolutely, man. We're here for you anytime.
All right, boss.
Always reach out.
All right,
Spikes.
appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it,
we're getting new spikes.
We're getting spiked.
Spikes.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
Right.
You're staying.
Yep.
John's staying. You taking over? Yeah. I'll move over here.
The Caltech KSG 410 is the perfect sidekick with no kick. At just over 1.5 inches wide, just over 26 inches long, and just over 5 pounds, you'll be hard-pressed to find a more impressive 410 bore shotgun. In fact, it's the world's first and only pump-action 410 bore bullpup shotgun. The side-by-side dual feeding tubes and one in the chamber delivers an impressive 11-round total capacity, making it as functional as it is fun. Innovation, performance, KillTech.
It does the same thing. So you can run it without the light. Yeah. And it still works.
No, that's okay, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, be quiet. I need your attention. We're recording. All right, in 3, 2. All right, we're back, and we are in the lead quarters. This is Professor Paul Markel, the Pimp Hand of America. Why am I the Pimp Hand of America?
Because it needs to be slapped.
Because this country needs a slap. It's not a job I was looking for, but it's one that I accepted. And of course, we are in the lead quarters. Thank you very much to Marty and Talking Lead for opening this up to us. Yes, indeed. And we, of course, and well, maybe not of course, but we are at the NRA annual meeting 2023.
In
Indianapolis, Indiana. So we've got from my right, your left, we have Heather.
Hello, everybody.
We have Kayla.
Hello.
Yeah, remember this is video or audio, so make sure you say hi.
We're not doing video at all?
And there's video. No, there's video. And Dave.
Howdy.
And Dave is here, man. So
Dave Biggers, ladies and gentlemen.
that's right. Dave Biggers, part of the Dave
Scar. No, I've been with you before. No, I told you I prefer to be referred to as Scar or Mr. Scar if you're not into that kind of anything.
That's not on his business cards. His official Ed Brown Products business cards say
I don't have one yet.
David Biggers on them.
You got to be cool to have a name like Scar.
That's right. And
you got to start somewhere. I say you start with a name.
Was that in the Jungle Book, or was that
The Lion King?
The Lion King, yeah.
You're also not allowed to give yourself a nickname.
That's true.
That's not cool. You can't.
That's
do
right.
that.
Someone has to give it to
Okay,
you.
we just were mentioning that one rapper. So who gave him that name? Oh, that's right. He gave it himself.
Well,
this Prince guy.
But
I don't recall anybody saying, "Hey, you're going to call you Prince." No,
hang on.
No, I beg to. The Pimp Hand of America.
But it wasn't a job I was looking for. It was the one that I was given. But no, let me tell you this. Who called you Lefty?
I earned mine.
It was a Squatch, right?
I earned mine.
Right? Lefty. Yeah. So actually,
it was our good buddy from Ackles to Fish, Charlie.
Charlie.
Heck yeah.
He called you left hand?
He came up with why they call me Lefty, yes.
Ah, cool.
I'm not talking about the nicknames I've had on here.
So, to clarify, I used to think that as well, Dave, what you thought, but Prince is actually on his birth certificate. That was the name that his parents gave him.
Oh, wow.
Now, he had a middle and a last name, but his first name actually was that. And his father was a very famous jazz musician. But I digress. This is not a pop culture show. Or is it a pop culture show?
It should be.
It could be a pop culture show. Give it any damn thing I want it to be. How's about that? Because I have a microphone and you don't.
But I do.
Ah, okay. All right, starting from my right, your left. Heather, what do you want to say?
We're happy to be here at the NRA show. We got to launch James's book, which was an amazing experience. It was the 4 pillars of fighting. We could not have done that without Paul. He was absolutely incredible in helping us get this out, and I think I speak for Kayla and I both when I say this was a little bit of an emotional experience for us, right?
Just a little.
For sure.
But we're so happy to be here. It was such a great turnout, and it's just been incredible.
Yeah. Kayla?
So, like, the behind the scenes action to get all of this stuff done, like Zach and Jared have both been incredibly helpful. Shout out to Zane DeGaines for that cover. Like, I literally was like, hey, the picture I have in my head is like 4 crumbling pillars, and then this is what he turns out with. Like, yeah. Like, it looks incredible. And then thanks, of course, to you, Paul, for helping get the Glock stuff set up. I said helping, like I did something with it.
Actually, thanks to Jared for being the ambassador. Jared was the ambassador, the diplomat that made that happen. But and thank you to Glock for donating a G19.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We gave away a G19 today to a lucky winner, and I said to Zach, I said, we've got a picture of him. I said, what's his name? And Zach said,
I know his name. It's Rich Vandehag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rich.
he won it.
Congratulations, Rich. If you're listening to this, great. If you're not listening to us, well,
You should be.
you're wrong.
But no, and then thanks to everybody that showed up. We have tried to carry on my dad's legacy and to do things the way that he would have wanted them done. And everybody has been super open-armed in the gun industry regarding that. SHOT Show kind of gave me a renewed sense of okay, we've got this, because so many people were just excited to see that we were still doing something. So thanks.
I do want to make sure that we publicly acknowledge Night Vision sites, Night Vision for donating product, PowerTech flashlights for donating product.
Thanks, Rob.
KnifeKits.com.
Steve Andrews.
Yes, for donating. And also, NSR Tactical for also donating. Yes.
With Mike Farrell.
Yep. So Glock, NSR, KnifeKits.com, PowerTech flashlights, and Night Vision Precision Tritium. And it was the actual student of the gun accurate sights for the Glock 17, which were done. Speaking of guns, our friend Dave Biggers, the Dave Biggers Experience, and also of Ed Brown Products, has 2 GATs. He's got 2 GATs with him. And why do you have 2 GATs? That's not a 1911.
Well, I have old school and I have new school.
All right, lean into the microphone, sir.
I have old school and new school.
Not that much. You mongoloid.
You're so old, Dave.
All right. Now, well, tell us about it. Come on, this is your opportunity to tell us about Ed Brown Products.
So Ed Brown started doing 1911s.
Custom 1911s.
Roughly 1969.
1969.
So they've
Good
been
year.
around a while. And very high-grade stuff, very precision fit, literally back in the time where people were not doing that. And so he was one of the early pioneers of doing the full house custom 1911s. They've been doing that for a long time. And then recently, what they came out, they were looking for opportunities and some other things that they might be able to do with other models. And so one of the things that they settled on was the Smith & Wesson M&P. And it's got bells and whistles on it. I mean, it looks cool, but the secret sauce in that is not the looks. And this is one of those things that I wish I'd thought of, because normally there's a locking block that comes in the gun. They have to be relatively generous, particularly on the polymer guns, because things move around a little bit. Well, it's Ed Brown. Ed Brown does not do loose tolerances.
They don't move
not
around.
An option. Yeah. And so they actually came up with what they termed their accuracy rail. The accuracy rail is an oversized locking block that is custom fitted to each slide. And that is called the Fuel Series, because you took something and you fill it up and you get better performance and it goes faster.
There you go.
And so the lockup on those guns...
Show me where that is.
It's actually down inside.
It's inside.
It's right down in here.
Okay.
And the rail section is beefier, and it was oversized, so you can't take an M&P slide and put on this gun. It won't fit.
Okay.
But you've got more contact area, and if you notice, this is extremely tight, the slide to frame fit. You're normally not going to get that. And we also do the polymer model, but this was the more recent one, which is the steel frame M&P. And it really changed the gun a bit for the better. Am I close enough?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And how much trigger work is done? Because giving credit to Smith & Wesson for creating what they created, the original factory triggers have been described sometimes as mush. I think that is it.
I could always feel the hinge, and if you use trigger reset, it would mess you up. because the hinge that you could feel in the trigger, like when you were coming off it, you could feel it coming both ways, and it would feel like you were at trigger reset before you were. So I really like their upgraded one though.
Now, Dave, would you say you've got a lot of experience with the M&Ps, right? Would you say that it's fair that the more, they're kind of like a Glock or any other one, the more you shoot them, the better the trigger feels?
Yeah, it all smooths out.
It smooths out.
In the first gen M&Ps, and they addressed this with the second gen, the first gen had a horrible reset. You couldn't count on it. You had to let it go all the way out like you did. And so if you tried to chance it, it may not reset. You took it all the way out. So they'd already made an improvement on the trigger, went to the Gen 2. But there was still a little bit of room that we thought. They're doing 2 different models. The polymer models are currently using the Apex.
I was wondering about that. I was going to ask about Apex.
And
if you can't think of it, don't say the wrong thing.
I'm not going to. They just, like I came on board yesterday at noon, and I'm still trying to catch up with everything. But
Dave is an NRA special release. He's an NRA exclusive.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, it started out as a joke. I said, I'll be making special appearances at different places, and one of my friends said, well, let me know when you're going to be, and, we'll post it on the daily events. And I'm like, I'm just joking, buddy. It's just a thing. And then it's like, I'm a pretty big deal. Somebody's going to give me a job because they want that publicity. So
there you go. Nice. So now Ed Brown obviously makes guns. They make custom guns, but they also make parts and components.
Yes, they do. They make parts, components, and they also make magazines. And they make extremely high quality magazines, made in the USA, lifetime warranty. And we even have a special going on. Magazine.
They got a special.
Not just the magazines, but I have a goodie code, which is good through the 30th of this month. It's 20% off parts and magazines at edbrown.com, and the coupon code is NRA 2023. So, they make mag wells, they make hammers, they make oversized safeties. There's a lot of stuff that you can go in and kind of spruce up your 1911s if you want. And they make great magazines. You can never have too many magazines unless you're trying to swim with them.
That's right. So it's is it just edbrown.com or
edbrown.com?
Edbrown.com. Edbrown.com. Kayla, you think that's a great idea? Tell me your thoughts about Ed Brown pistols.
1911. Is that really what you want me talking about?
No, I saw you put jerky in your mouth. I'm going to ask her a question right now.
So, you notice I've done this before. He tried to hand me the no, dry mouth.
I'm going to do little bites. But no, that is one of the... I joke with people. I'm just like, no, 1911s are too sharp and pointy. There are too many buttons because they're like pieces that stick off that you don't have on your typical polymer framed guns. That one doesn't have near as many buttons and sharp edges and things that make it uncomfortable. Like it was comfortable.
Yeah. Speaking of 1911s, where did our friend Matt wander off to? Did he wander off to Cabot or did he?
Who?
Matt Dorito.
Matt.
You know Matt Dorito, right?
Was he in here?
Well, he's here. He was at the
he coming to the book
event.
launch.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in the booth.
Well, no, he wasn't in the booth. We need to get him in the freaking booth.
Yeah, I would love to see
We
him.
need to get him in the booth.
I'll text him.
Somebody text him and say, come to the Caltech booth, Matt, and do not leave until Marty sees you.
8263? 83?
Yeah, so that is that, Mr. That's That. So, and what's interesting to me is I've been in this business for, I can safely say 30 years.
I was thinking like the 1800s or so.
Yeah, since 1897.
Edison, they had to invent the radio.
It was during his midlife crisis. So
yeah, exactly. These young pups, these late comers.
Well, these 30s be hitting different.
I've been paying attention to this industry since I was 16, and what most people don't know, and I say this just so that you'll have an appreciation, and I don't know if people actually can have it because they didn't experience it, but like, okay, Grandpa, sounds like a good, cool story. But the okay, Grandpa, cool story is this: in the 80s and even into the 90s, if you wanted a 1911 to run reliably, especially with anything but 230 grain ball, I want to run 185 in mine. I want to run 200 wad cutters in mine. I want to whatever. You did not do that with an out of the box gun. Nope. You did not. And what people would literally do, not figuratively, is they would literally order a 1911 from whoever they could get it from at the time. And generally it was either Colt or Springfield. Or
it was Colt. Springfield really wasn't.
Yeah. I bought a Springfield in a mil spec in 91.
Well, a lot of what you're talking about literally took place in the 70s, and I know because I did it.
Yep.
You bought a Colt 1911
standard
box stock. You dropped at least $1,500 on it because they had
That's a
ramp
lot of
and
money
throwed
back
it
then.
and put sights on it. Yeah, because in a decent safety and a trigger, then it might run hollow point.
Right. You got it, and then it went immediately from you to a custom shop.
Yeah, you didn't even shoot it.
You didn't even shoot it. You just you just took it in the box, thank you, and you shipped it to Ed Brown. You shipped it to Bill Wilson. You shipped it to Cylinder and Slide.
Yep.
Who are some
Richard Heine,
and
Bianchi, Hockmeyer.
Who was the Armand
Swenson?
Armand Svensson. Yeah.
And also King.
Yeah.
King Gunsight.
Walt Roush had an Armand Swenson 1911.
Oh, those were awesome.
Yeah, you sent it to them with a check.
Yep.
Understanding that they would probably get back to you in 6 months, if you were lucky, a year,
maybe a year
on average.
Yep.
We have a real life photo of the group of protesters outside.
No, is there 4?
There was one out there yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are 4. Beware.
Like we saw probably 30 or 40 at lunch.
I heckled them last year, and this year I thought, if I don't have a job, I'm going to join right in the middle of the crowd. Kill the NRA, down with the violence, hey! But now I'm official. So
you have a job, you can't do that.
I wanted to go do a video interview with one of them.
There you go. How stupid are you? That's a question of the day.
I just got a couple questions. Like, you call me a baby killer, I'm going to call you an idiot, and then we can move on from there.
Now you're dealing with people that literally do not have the brain capacity to think rationally. They consume so much soy and fried food and garbage that they don't have the brain capacity to have a rational argument.
You do realize that if Alec Baldwin had been a member of the NRA, he would have never pulled that trigger without checking first.
That's
fact. Fact.
Now, gun safety rules are not for me; they're for thee, and they're not for Hollywood people. But let's get back to talking about guns and stuff and things and stuff and junk. So, what's next for Tactical Response?
So what we have coming up immediately is the all-girls pistol class, Magnums and Mascara. We're gonna it sold out 2 weeks after we announced it, so we're gonna do another one this fall. And this is a class like Tactical Response and American Gun Chick or her Honey Badger. We're not really making a whole bunch of money off of it. It is just to get more girls involved in this and get them comfortable with training. We have just taught the John Wick class and our Gun Fu.
Gun Fu.
Yep. Rock Galati, Lewis, Joey, and I had lunch out at SHOT. Come up with the idea and everything, and didn't realize it was Easter weekend. Did not realize it was Easter weekend. So Rock asked him, he was like, is it okay? Because I said I was only going to do this one time. Is it okay if I do it again in the later on this year? They all gave him the thumbs up. And then we're dipping more into the political arena. I will be going and making regular rounds at the state legislature through all the offices and just talking to the representatives and the senators there, telling them, like, hey, what you're trying to do ain't gonna work.
Did they push that bill forward? Did they move the college bill forward?
No. So the chairman in the Senate, in my opinion, single-handedly held that bill, it killed it right there. There were 3 other representatives, because it was a 5-3 vote to not pass, but there were 3 other people there who said, if you can make this amendment to it, I'll vote for it. And when they said that, they're like, let's roll over. That the House rolled it over for these same amendments. Like, how about we roll it over? And the chairman was like, nope. Okay.
All right.
Me and you ain't friends no more.
Well, then he needs to be.
He needs to be out.
He needs to be unemployed the next.
Yeah. Special shout out to Senator Kerry Roberts out of Tennessee. He gave a very compelling speech talking about how, as a government official, it is not your responsibility to come up with new rules for the people. It's your responsibility to uphold the Constitution, and that clearly what they were talking about was a violation of the Constitution. He said, in Tennessee, like Tennessee state constitution says you should be able to carry a gun unless. And with what they are doing, he said, we make them like you can only carry a gun if. And he said that's not okay. That's not what we're responsible for. So political crush.
It's amazing how many people are elected to office without any familiarity with the Constitution whatsoever. It's almost like they go out of their way to avoid it.
They don't even have to take the one that's on the citizenship test.
Kids. Well, here's the thing. It's not really. I was talking to somebody earlier today and saying, well, it's not really going to matter. All of this stuff that we're talking about is really not going to matter when the criminals in Washington, D.C. devalued the dollar to the point that we're carrying it around in wheelbarrows like in Venezuela, where money is blowing down the street and no one will bend over to pick it up because it's so worthless. I'm at the point in my life, and I'll say this on the radio, and I'll say it to anybody, and all of you AFT scumbags and all of you NSA scumbags that are listening right now. I'm at the point in my life where I'm not surrendering anything. I can read, I can speak English. I know what the Constitution means. Rights do not come from government; they come from our Creator. And there's a reason. I wasn't planning to get on a soapbox, but there's a reason that they're pushing this gun control stuff so hard right now. There's a reason why they're orchestrating these mass killings. It's because you need to be disarmed before you're fighting over food.
Yep. Yeah.
And they know that's coming. The people in Europe are just going to starve because they don't have the ability to fight for their food. They're just going to starve. The people in Australia are just going to starve. And we are it. The United States of America, the people of the United States of America are the last impediment to worldwide global tyranny. Where are you going to go?
Exactly.
Where are you going to go? People are like, oh, I'll just move to, okay.
And that's what makes this so trepidous right now. It's because we are.
We're it. This is the last castle. And if this castle falls, there's nowhere else to go. Where are you going to go, to China? Where are you going to go? You got to go. And they were making actual inroads in South America, and the globalists decided, like, no, we can't have that. They couldn't have inroads in Brazil, so they pulled a Biden. They pulled a 2020, and they got rid of there was a president that was making reforms and actually giving people back more liberty, and they're like, we can't have that crap. You got to go. So, what do we got over here? Marty's bringing in more guns.
No. The Kraken case. Have you been exposed to the Kraken case?
Kraken? Is it
Kraken or Kraken?
Is it Crack-a-lackin'? Is it Crack-a-lackin'? So there's a Kraken case.
About it is this memory foam that it has. So check that out there, Paul. Play with it.
Oh, okay. So you can stick anything in it and it'll stay.
Pull your knife out.
Pull my knife out.
Pull your knife out. Run it across there.
Oh, run it across there?
Yeah, run it across there.
Oh, okay.
Huh. And then, anybody got a lighter or something with fire? It's like, I don't know how many, like 1,000,000 degrees resistant on heat.
1,000,000?
1,000,000. I don't know. You take your suppressor off after you've shot a mag or two through it. You can put it on there, close it up.
What are you taking the suppressor off with? That was your hand.
Oh, oven mitt. Or I'm
Okay.
gonna have the ogre do it for me.
So right after my dad gave me the AK Occam, like the Occam AK,
Yeah.
it had a silencer on it, so I took it out to the range. I'm like, doo-doo-doo, like loving it. Life is great. And then went to get in my car, and I was like, shit, it's still really hot. Don't know why I thought that a diaper was a good barrier, and it melted around the silencer. So I was just like, I just melted a diaper to a oops, sorry.
It's my show. You can leave it in. If it's Paul's, you might want to
to a silencer, like an expensive gun.
Here's the good news. Take it out and shoot it again and get it really hot, and it'll burn that.
Right. That's what I did. That is what I did.
something big in here.
So way back before, funny melting story. Before Duracoat had the can technology that makes it super easy to do it yourself. This is like 12, 13 years ago. I was walking around Walmart, and they had. Have you ever seen patio furniture spray paint?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
It's textured.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It feels like when it dries, it feels like dry sand. Mm-hmm. And I thought, ooh, I had the idea. I was like, oh yeah. So I had an AK. It was one of the BM ones, one of the not expensive BM ones. And I took it out, and I did the whole thing in it's desert sand color. You know, this spray paint, this patio furniture paint. Cool story, bro. I went out to the range, shot about 3 mags, and it was smoking. Like that paint was not heaters.
Not protected against hot temperature.
That's something. Huh. So, wow. So is this from Kraken,
Kraken Case? Yeah, new case company on the market.
Well, there you go.
They've got rifle cases also.
Crack-a-lackin'.
New.
Nice.
They've got smaller iPro.
I like
Having
that.
the single lock.
Well, but not only that, like the memory foam that you don't have to get a separate cutout for each thing that you're going to store in that. Like you
That's
can just
really smart.
Yeah, you can just put like if you when me and Joey flew to Vegas trying to put both of our guns in one case, that would have been like perfect for something like that.
And you can double stack if you want. Tough enough to overstuff the Kraken case.
Yeah.
So Kraken.
Tough enough to
You can burn
overstuff.
it, you can cut it, you can try to deform it, it's going to snap right back in there.
Well, that is cool. Crazy. That is cool.
Kraken memory foam, ladies and gentlemen.
Kraken memory foam.
Use the code LEADHEAD.
Use the code LEADHEAD when you go to kraken.com.
Kraken Case Company is krakencases.com.
krakencases.com.
Absolutely.
With a K, not with a CR.
You just happen to be giving one of these away with a P15 holster and 5 extra mags and a flashlight here at the KELTECH booth.
Here at the KELTECH booth.
When is that happening?
You need to go register as soon as we get done.
Sweet Buddha, it's almost 5:30.
It is almost 5.
wow.
Like the show is going to be done when we're done.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, we're sitting here being completely and totally unprofessional, eating jerky and talking about Kraken cases and all kinds of stuff. But
And eating, you talked about the jerky, didn't you?
yep, and eating the ABC
Yeah,
jerky. Well, let's go ahead and pimp the jerky. We're gonna pimp. What kind of jerky is it? It's pimp jerky. There you go.
Yeah.
Brave experience. Live natural and free. Angus jerky. There you go.
He said, can I get another one?
All right. So, unless we have anything else to say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to rippity wrap it. Thank you to Dave Biggers from the Dave Biggers Experience, also from Ed Brown Products. Thank you to Kayla and Heather from Tactical Response. It's tacticalresponse.com. Thank you to Paul Markel, the host extraordinaire from Student of the Gun. Thank you to Jared and Zachary, who's not here. I think Zach's having a emotional breakdown somewhere. And of course to Lefty himself, Marty from Talking Lead. And we'll come back with more from the NRA annual meeting in the KELTECH booth. All right, at Indianapolis, Indiana, 2023.
I was tired, ladies and gentlemen. It's late in the day.
It is.
This motherfucker's been talking all day long.
All right, lead heads, that does it for this episode of the Talking Lead podcast. Hope you enjoyed all those interviews that we just did. Big thanks to Professor Paul Markel, Jared, and Zach for making those possible. Couldn't have done it without them. Video versions will be out. This episode will not be a complete video in it to itself. We'll have separate videos for each of those interviews. So be looking for those on Rumble. I'm trying to do away with YouTube. You guys know I'm trying to do away with YouTube. I'm still posting to YouTube, so they'll be on YouTube, but go to Rumble. That's where I want you guys to start following us. If you haven't followed us on Rumble yet, go and follow us. I think we've doubled since the last episode when I asked you guys to go and follow, so make it happen. And if you're listening to us on the Firearms Radio Network, it's great. I really appreciate you guys doing that. But typically the shows that you hear are a week later than if you listen on Talking Lead. If you go to the direct Talking Lead app feed on all these podcast apps, then more times than not, you're going to get the show sooner because, like I said, we're usually about a week behind on posting to the Firearms Radio Network. So if we're doing giveaways, we have contests, you're going to be a week behind everybody else. So go ahead and subscribe to us directly, Talking Lead, and you're still not going to miss us on the Firearms Radio Network. We're going to be there. We're not going anywhere. Just don't want you guys to miss out on these awesome giveaways that we're doing, like the one with the Ackless Defense Copus silencer, that 22 that we're giving away on the next Talking Lead AK Corner. Make sure you go back to the previous episode, June's episode of the Talking Lead AK Corner, and you're going to get instructions, directions, everything that you need to know to be eligible for that Copus that we're giving away. So you're going to have until about the 12th of July to get those into me, and then we're going to announce the winner, pick the winner on the next AK Corner, July's edition AK Corner. Our newest sponsors, 4 Patriots, go and show them some love. Use that code, all caps LEADHEAD, 4 Patriots. They're championing freedom and self-reliance. They're making it possible for you guys to get those food storages in place and ready for when disaster or crisis strikes and get you prepared. Go to 4patriots.com, use the code LEADHEAD. You're going to get 10% off your first purchase. And I guarantee you, if you guys use that and they see you're using them, then they're probably going to do more for us in the future. So let them see you using it. Let them know you're lead heads. And, of course, all our other sponsors, go and show them love. Mission First Tactical, Seal 1, Kraken Cases, Lockdown, Kel-Tec, Defiant Munitions. Go use those codes. Some of them are different than Leadhead, but most of the time it's Leadhead. You're going to get awesome discounts. Most times it's going to be better than what you can get anywhere else, but like I said earlier in the show, during holidays and special occasions, sometimes they run better deals than my code. So use those codes, get the best deals you can, but make sure you let them know that you're lead heads and that you heard about them here on the Talking Lead podcast. Coming up in future episodes, I just want to give you guys a heads up. We've got some awesome guests coming up. We've got Brad Thor, the New York Times bestselling author Brad Thor. I know you guys have heard about Brad Thor. He's been around for many years, and he's got a new book. It's called Deadfall, and we have the privilege of having Mr. Thor on to talk about his new book. But he's got a whole slew. I mean, he's got like over 23 books on the New York Times bestselling list. Go check him out, Brad Thor. Got him coming up. And then also, I know you lead heads, any of you outdoor enthusiast hunters, you know who Jim Shockey is. So Jim Shockey has a novel that he's got out. It's a fiction. It's a book of fiction, and it's not something that you would expect to come from Jim Shockey. I've been reading it. I'm not all the way through it yet, but this book is really good. It's captivating. Jim's book is called Call Me Hunter. So we're going to have Jim Shockey on later this year, a couple of months, and he's going to talk about this new book. It doesn't come out until October, but yeah, so I'm excited to have Jim Shockey on. And then, of course, in the meantime, we've got several other awesome guests lined up. Make sure you tune in each and every week. Watch our social medias, and we keep you up to date on what's going on there. So follow us, like us, subscribe, do all the things, share our post. Help us get through these shadow banning and freedom of speech banning that these social media platforms put us through. It helps when you guys go, like, share, follow, do all the things. Helps us get through that. And, of course, with our sponsors, do the same thing. But that's it. That's all I got for you. I hope you guys are having an awesome 4th of July holiday, Independence Day. Celebrate it safe, celebrate it big, celebrate it loud, have fun, and show your lead-headedness. And until then, leadheads, as always, keep your loved ones close and your firearms closer, and be proud to be an American. America.